If you want to build a high-end gaming PC that goes fast, but without literally like grabbing your money and throwing it out the window, you basically have to buy a 5080 and a Ryzen 7 9800X3D. That's out of the question. It's the only thing you can do, pretty much. So the only question is how to buy the rest of the components and actually, okay, how to buy your GPU as well, so that you don't waste money. And what we have here today is a pretty interesting build with a lot of choices, which may make you very unhappy or may actually surprise you and help you out to build good value gaming PC, even on the high end. So with that said, let's get started and see what I've put together. Now, first off, this may not have like a height Y70 with an LCD screen, but it looks decent still. You don't have to compromise on aesthetics to make a good PC. You can actually make it look a lot better than this by simply choosing your GPU better, because here I put an Inno3D X3 RTX 5080 just because I managed to get a decent deal on it, but I actually made a review on the card and I don't recommend it too much. I don't think it's the card you should buy. So just buy a prettier one or whatever cheap 5080 you can find. Now, CPU, 9800X3D, the fastest gaming CPU on the market, because if you actually know how to tweak your hardware, it's actually faster in gaming than a Ryzen 9 9950X3D, because you can overclock this one more. And in case you're wondering, yes, I do have a guide on how to overclock it, but you know what else you can overclock very well? The RAM, which we've put here. So you need fast DDR5, no matter what you build. And in this case, we've gone with some King Bank 6800 MHz CL32 DDR5 RAM. We don't have RGB, but we don't care because we care about the performance. And now this RAM literally uses SK Hynix chips, and it's the same RAM that if you're buying G-Skill or like Corsair stuff, except it costs less and sometimes it has better timings too. So just go buy some other RAM other than mainstream. In every single one of my videos, I try to use some different RAM, which I find for cheap, and I recommend it to you guys, because what's the point to go out and pay like the name to buy Corsair stuff where the RAM doesn't even look that good. RAM side, you also need a good motherboard if you want to go ahead and do some proper overclocking. Now, that's not actually true, because you can get away with a very cheap motherboard. I actually made a dedicated video on which AM5 motherboard to buy in case you want to take a look at it. But in short, today here we wanted to keep the build high-end. So we went with an X870, we got a Gigabyte Ice motherboard, X870 Ice. It also has Wi-Fi 7. I got it because the guy who this PC is for wanted some specific features. So we went ahead with this motherboard. And the cool thing is it's fully white. They literally copied Asus ROG with their ROG Strix X870 white. And even the back, they like engraved a little image on the back of the motherboard, just like Asus did. They got some quick release NVMe heatsinks, just like Asus did. And it's basically a cheaper version of the ROG motherboard. And it's not too bad though, like the BIOS works, the VRM is very good, and it does the same stuff the Asus one does, with just a little bit less connectivity on the back, which you don't really need. So all in all, just save your $150 by buying this and not the Strix one. At this point, something that actually matters for your performance is your cooling. So this CPU, especially if overclocked, it has, yes, nice efficiency, however, you need to cool it, okay? So we've gone full silence for this build. I'm talking cooler, case, power supply, all silent. Why? Because they're very cheap. Now, they're gonna be more convenient if you're from Europe, because they are Europe-based. And if you are somewhere like in the US, it's probably not gonna be the best, but check if you can find them. Here in Europe, this is some of the cheapest stuff you can buy. Has an infinity mirror, kind of like the old NZXT Kraken with the silence name inside. It comes with fans pre-mounted, takes 2 minutes to install, and I really value like the complexity of making an all-in-one. It has all the fans daisy chainable, the RGB is daisy chainable with the pump itself, so you need 0 controllers, and it's literally such an easy experience. It's not the first time we have it on the channel. I've had it in black, I've had the older version as well, and it's not gonna be the last. This is very good cooler, and you can see also the performance. I'm gonna spoiler it to you now. I'm gonna show you guys what it was doing under Prime 95 stress test, and it was doing like 60 degrees. But even if we run a full fire strike, which I'm spoilering you guys the score after the overclock, it's very good, and you go ahead and take a look. It peaked at 68 degrees with the fans put on silent, and we just maxed out the pump because you can't hear the pump either way. Extremely good performer, and I also showed you guys the extremely good performance of the case, because as you can see, every component is really cool in here, and this case, the Silence Glam, basically has a diagonal fan blowing air directly on the GPU, which helps. It actually helps, and the airflow is good here. Now the case is massive. Like, it should be pretty clear in video also, because this is a 5080, pretty big card, and look at how much space you have still. This is an RTX 5090 case, easily, which comes with a lot of pre-installed fan. I'm talking 5 white ARGB fans pre-installed with a controller included, controllable via the case with a simple button on top. The buttons are really cool. They have LEDs on them. Power button has a really cool shape, and even has an integrated anti-sag bracket. They give you inside the case a little box where you can put all the screws. Like, this thing is like $100, and it's more premium than brand name cases. Now, I don't want to just diss every brand every time I make a video and start saying like Lian Li I don't like, etc. But it's a fact that I don't like Lian Li, you know, it's life. But anyways, cheap, and they give you a lot of value. So this is very good. Just easy choice, 100% recommended. Like if you like a standard aquarium-like case, like the most standard fish tank case you can find with diagonal fan, with included fans and what we talked about, easy to build in, buy it. And the cooler, just buy it as well. Okay, it's very good. The power supply is where I'm probably gonna get some hate, but I wanted to do all Silence. And now the guys at Silence, they need to make more good power supplies, because they are making very good stuff on the mid-range. I want to see like a high-end 80 plus platinum PSUs from them. I'm gonna put it in my main build if they do it. What I've gotten is an 750 watt gold, which is not gold certified, like it's not 80 plus gold power supply, which is non-modular. So why did they get this? Because it's like $50, and it's so cheap because they don't pay for the 80 plus gold certification, and they don't pay to make it modular. So basically the money goes all into making the power supply. Now they did make the fan of the power supply itself ARGB, which they could have avoided maybe, but cool underglow under the case, so it's not too bad. But they could have saved maybe $3 over there also and make it even $5 cheaper. But the crazy thing, and why I'm doing it on this build, is with a decent 750 watts power supply, you can run a 9800X3D plus RTX 5080 PC easily. Because the PC, you want to know how much it's drawing real time gaming. It's drawing 400 watts. So you don't need 750, but you want your PSU to be at around 50 to 60%, and we are hitting exactly that mark, and it's why I've gone with this. The cables were just too ugly, like, let's be honest. Just flat black cables. They're good for a mid-range build, but they're not good for a high-end build. So what did I do? I went ahead and I spent like $50 on custom cables, and I've gotten this cable mod kit, which is a pretty cool little segment. You can basically customize every single wire yourself. Now, in another life, I was just sleeving the cables myself, like cutting the wires and putting the sleeve on. But that would take me like 3 hours. And back when I was a kid and I had nothing to do, it was fun. But now I've done it like 3 times, and I don't want to do it ever again. So I can just buy custom cables for, you know, a few bucks more. I prefer to do it. And also, this power supply is not ATX 3.0 compatible, so they don't give you a 12 volt high power cable. So in the set, I got a 12 volt high power to double 8 pin, which is 600 watts rated, and I just plugged it in, and now it looks like the PSU is 3.1, so the aesthetics is like on point. Like if I didn't tell you which PSU was in it, you would have never guessed it by looking at like performance, numbers, and like aesthetics. So that's, I think, the play, in my opinion. Like, I'm really happy about it. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm very happy about it. If you undervolt your hardware, which you should do if you're watching this channel, because on this channel we basically wash components with water. We do some PC builds and we show you guys how to undervolt, and we don't do anything else pretty much. Occasionally we like put GPUs inside microwaves, but we don't really do much else. So if you're watching this, just undervolt your hardware. And undervolted this PC in a normal gaming scenario, it draws 300 watts. Power supply is plenty. It's even overkill, if it makes sense. Probably the most interesting part of the build is the SSD, because I've just gotten a Kingston KC3000, which is a very good drive, but I've talked about it so much on the channel, I'm basically getting one for every single one of my build. I don't want to just go over it too much. Just get a Gen 4 drive. Gen 5 is very good, but it's very niche. And Gen 3 is a bit too slow nowadays. Come on, get a Gen 4. And this is basically the build. How much can you build a PC like this for? And the answer is surprisingly low. It's under $2,000 you can do. Now, if you really shop around and you buy maybe a cheaper 5080, or you build this PC a while from now when they will be down in price, you can probably do it for around 1,800. But at 2,000, I think this is what anybody can build this PC for, which is, I think, pretty good. Like, there's no point to go out there and spend $3,000 on an RTX 5080 PC. Here, you're literally getting the best you can get for your money for gaming, and you can game at a very high end. We are talking 1440p, 240 Hz easily. This is a 4K gaming PC as well, and at 1080p you can literally play on the edge of competitiveness at like 360 Hz or even 480 Hz in games that support it easily. On CSGO you're gonna do 600 FPS, of course, no problem. CS2, sorry guys. So with that said, the video is pretty much finished. The only thing is I want to hear what you guys think. So if you want to insult me for my PSU choice, now it's the time to do it. I understand. Or if you want to suggest me anything to improve the build, do it right now. Tell me what you would change. Also tell me if you like the aesthetics, and tell me if you've built something similar for yourself recently. And if you've heard me yapping for around 10 minutes, maybe drop a like and subscribe in case you like my yapping. And I hope to see you guys in another video. Bye bye.